Hello, everyone. Welcome to ListenUp Podcast. Today we have Sean Montero. He is the chairperson for the Virginia Beach Democratic Committee, or is it party?
Committee.
Okay. Sean, say hello to everyone.
Hey, folks. How y'all doing? Sean Montero, represent the Democratic Party here in Virginia Beach, but also we're a part of the 10-1 coalition, which I guess we'll have an opportunity to talk about a little bit more.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your background a little bit, because I guess not all the time are you going to get a pilot to come in and talk to you. So you were in the Air Force, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So
retired Air Force?
Yes.
Colonel?
Retired colonel, served 25 years. Was able to go to the was fortunate enough to go to the Air Force Academy. Was a nominee out of Virginia, Centerville High School. And
you were born and raised in Virginia?
No, I wasn't born and raised here. My dad was in the FBI, but we, through his assignments, I finished off high school for 3 years of high school in Centerville in Fairfax County, and was fortunate in that experience to go ahead and go to the academy. Oh,
awesome!
Yep,
that's awesome. So, what type of plane did you fly?
So I flew the A-10 Warthog. So that's a close air support aircraft. It's the best way.
Really?
Yeah. For those of you that haven't seen one of those, it looks like a Hershey bar with wings, or really a cigar with Hershey bar wings is probably the best way to put it. But the primary weapon system on it is a 30 millimeter cannon built to go ahead and kill tanks.
That's why it's aptly named the tank killer, right?
Absolutely.
So it was used quite a bit in the Gulf War.
In the Gulf War, actually through the entire global war on terror, which I had multiple deployments on. So our mission was to go and save the lives of the 18-year-old on the ground that was really trying to go through it, and just speaks to as you grow up in that community, it just speaks to what you want to do in the future.
Right. All right. So I like planes.
Okay. Yeah, I like it too. I love them.
I happen to like that one a lot.
Right on.
So how did you come to fly that particular aircraft?
Yeah, so went to Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas. Was fortunate enough to go to one of the premier pilot training programs called Euronato Joint Jet Pilot Training, or NJEPT, and trained with U.S. obviously, and then multinational partners to go ahead and learn how to fly aircraft, to go ahead and be a more cohesive. That's the stepping stone to become a more cohesive alliance going forward. And in my drop, I was fortunate enough to be selected out to go out and serve in the A-10 community. So that was the start in 1999.
Gotcha. So, you're married?
Yes, I am.
With children?
Yes, I am.
Okay. How old are they?
I have a 16-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old son. So
awesome. So you're right in the middle of the teenage years.
Yep, teenage years, and
everybody's growing up, and
yeah, I'm blessed with great kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, great wife as well, but they say kids are a reflection of you, and so I'm not saying anything about me, but if that's the truth, I couldn't be happier.
Right, that's good. You probably have a really good wife, though.
Absolutely, the best.
Yeah, see, that's it. You got to get some brownie points on recording. So
absolutely, yeah. My wife is honestly the heart and soul, as I think most spouses are, the heart and soul of our family. She keeps me grounded, and also provides just great support, not only to our family, but she's in her own way, she supports the community.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about the Virginia Beach Democratic Committee and the chair. What does a chairperson do, or something like that? What does a chairperson do for a particular party?
Well, I think what the chairperson does is, I mean, in accordance with our, one remains within accordance to the bylaws, serves the committee, in a leadership role to go and provide direction and guidance and energy to go ahead and move the party to, one, abide by its bylaws. And for us in the Democratic Committee, the name of the game is winning elections with the people that we nominate.
Gotcha.
The other piece is to go make sure that democratic values are enshrined in the policies that our elected leaders provide. I think it's to go and advocate for the community as well, writ large, because there's plenty of Democrats here, and there is a Democratic Party in Virginia Beach that you all can go ahead and join. If you need to find us, you can look us up at vbdemocrats.org. We have a great website that you can go ahead and engage on, especially during this election season. But I think some of the priorities, besides winning, before you can win, you have to go and build your membership. So that's one thing that we focused on during this administration, if you will, of the Democratic Committee. The other piece is making sure that our volunteers have something of value to do, because it's tough to go and volunteer for something, and if you don't have a plan to go and be employed, you start losing volunteers because they're giving you your time, right? And everything. And then the other piece is to go ahead and start to engage the community. Let them know that there's a Democratic Committee out here, to go ahead and break down some through a human interaction, break down through some of the echo chamber that's out there that goes ahead, that we've heard, derisive language used against either one of the parties, right? And I think, I think there's a place for a Republican Party, a sane Republican Party in particular, because no one side has everything figured out, and we know this in life, right?
Right. The candidates that are running now, how many are you you have involved in races and supporting?
So locally, we have 8. So we have all six House of Delegates seats, starting off in 95 with Delegate Alex Askew, House District 96 with Delegate Kelly Converse Fowler, House District 97, Michael Fagans, Delegate Michael Fagans. In House District 98, we have a newcomer, Cheryl Smith, but a great person who's rooted in the community. And is really working her tail off to go ahead and get her name out there and make people understand what she's about and everything else. In House District 99, we have Kat Porterfield.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Who's running in 99 and is doing a great job of countering her opponent. And then coming up from the Eastern Shore. But the interesting piece about that is actually a majority of her district is in Virginia Beach. And that's Liz Richardson, a native of the Eastern Shore and coastal Virginia, but also somebody who was displaced by this new administration in her former job with the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to say also we have constitutional races that are constitutional officer races. So the ones that we have candidates in. This time around is Commissioner of Revenue Phil Kellum. It's been our Commissioner of Revenue for a long time, but I think the best thing about Phil is he is the one that exudes our puts. I like to go and say that there's say-do gaps. You say one thing and you do the other. There is no say-do gap with Phil Kellum and democratic values. He fights for veterans. He fights for seniors. He fights for the people that are falling on hard times, to make sure that as we have to go and collect the necessary tax revenue to run our city, that they have a shot to go and have a break to go ahead and be able to continue to live in our great city. Right. And then finally we have. Suzanne Richmond, who's running for the Commonwealth's attorney, and we really need to go and have a change there because that really decides how the cases that we prosecute. and everything. And we may talk about this later on, but the shooting of Deshaela Harris and Donovan Lynch, I don't know if that was adequately reviewed or whatnot. But I think we want to go and know that there's somebody that's going to go fight for those. So, things.
Can you talk about those two shootings? Because I don't think people might not know if they're not tapped into the local news.
Yeah, so this is and it's a little bit of history. I mean, history in the sense of I believe it was 2021.
Okay.
When right in the wake of the George Floyd murder.
Yeah.
That there was a shooting incident by a police officer where Deshaela Harris and Donovan Lynch both succumbed to gunshot wounds and by the police officer. The one issue at the time was there wasn't body cameras, and if there was body cameras, they weren't automatically. Now that anytime that you raise your weapon or an officer of the law raises their weapon, the body camera will turn on. So there's gray space, right?
Yeah.
And that honestly, I think I may not have said this, but I'm the son of an FBI agent. I understand that law enforcement is necessary. It's an essential service. But law enforcement needs to go ahead and be, in my opinion, in line with the community that it serves, right? It's protect and serve, right? It's not dominate and destroy, if you will. So with that, there was a citizen, through actually Democratic endorsed candidates and really Democratic endorsed officials, Sabrina Wooten, Aaron Rouse when he was a councilman, and Guy Tower led the charge to have a citizens review panel task force set up to go ahead and bring the old review panel into line with the community and have it become more of a dialogue between now, where the community has an opportunity to go ahead and dialogue with the police department, that the community now has the opportunity to go and investigate or participate in the investigation of any sort of complaints or incidents like those, and that the community has subpoena power now to go ahead and if they're not satisfied with what the internal affairs department of the police office was supposed to do. So it's not supposed to be adversarial.
Okay.
It's honestly supposed to be collegial, because a community that's in line with its police department is going to be a safer community. I mean, and that's proven time and time again. Community policing and communities that are able to advocate on their behalf for how they want to be policed and public and how they want to have public safety enacted in their communities are gonna naturally be safer.
Right. That's awesome. I definitely agree with the police and the community supporting. I think we've kind of gotten away from that over the years.
Absolutely.
And it seems like we were when you had police officers that were in the community, things seemed to be a little bit better. I don't know that, but I was with my sisters and brothers. They tell me, because they remember growing up with police being in the community, knowing everybody, and just that presence just deterred crime itself.
I think one, it deters crime, but I think it deters overreaction. When you know somebody by their name, you're less apt to go ahead and be aggressive towards them, right?
Oh, I never thought about it like that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
When you're out there playing basketball with the kids, while you're on, as a former deputy chief John Bell would talk about, having been here since the 70s, and I think Bobby Matheson, a former delegate who was a police officer, beat cop, would say that they would go out and play ball with the kids. They would go and toss it around with them. One, keeps the kids out of mischief. Two, builds trust.
Yeah.
And now you don't have kids that are afraid of a police officer.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that when something is bad that's going on, they know that this person's not going to go and overreact and now have a bad day, because they're already dealing with people on their worst day.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. So one of the issues right now that is in front and center for the city of Virginia Beach is 10-1 versus 7-3-1. And I think you're part of a coalition. Can you tell us what the coalition is first, who the coalition is, and what is your position on this?
Yeah, so very easy. The coalition, so the vote yes on 10-1 referendum coalition is which is our full name, but let's just shorten it to the vote yes on 10-1 coalition, is a multi-partisan, but really multi-partisan group that is focused on a nonpartisan issue, voting rights, right? And membership in this commission, in this coalition, include the NAACP, includes the teachers union, includes the city workers, includes faith communities, includes the libertarians and Tea Party, includes other political parties as well, and is growing. Why? Because it's a people movement. It's a people-led movement because we're fighting for our right to vote. All right. And what the 10-1 coalition is we support the referendum change measure on the ballot that will change our charter with a yes vote to go ahead and lock in an already proven system of representation that provides local, fair, and accountable representation for the city, keeping the power with the people, with we the people, and everything else like that.
Okay, so let's kind of delve into why it's called the 10-1. Why is it called the 10-1? So if you can explain that, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 10-1 system is first off, it's federally mandated. It's federally mandated based upon the Voting Rights Act, and we can talk a little bit more about the history. But what occurred is leading up in the late 2018, early 2020s, a court case was brought up because there was a belief that there wasn't proper representation of communities in Virginia Beach. The court case is the Holloway versus the City of Virginia Beach case. People can go ahead and look that up, and it's actually still ongoing now because we're back in this referendum, and the city is in default of what they had agreed to previously. But a federal judge found that our system was against the Voting Rights Act in terms of minority representation and everything else like that, and then mandated an equal district 10-1 system. So what we have now is and have had since 2022 and have gone through 2 election cycles, is a system where there are 10 equal districts. There's about 450,000 people in Virginia Beach, give or take. So each one of those districts has about 45,000 people each in it. So those 10 districts are represented by one-person individuals. So those 10 council members form the 10.
We have 10 council members.
We have 10 council members.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so we have 10 council members and 1 mayor.
And we have 1 mayor that's voted at large.
That's where they get the 10-1 from.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So that is a more fair system than what we had previously, because previously we had an at-large system, which meant that somebody from across town could vote for the person that's representing you in your district. And with at-large seats, you could have a majority of those people all living in the same section of the city. So that means that communities like Green Run, like Lake Edwards, like College Park, SeaTac, may not have had the representation that they needed and would have been outweighed because 3 or 4 people all lived in the same, potentially even up to 5 people on the city council could have all lived in the same zip code.
Okay, so what do you see the value of having your council person in your district? Let's talk about, I hate saying let's talk about. So tell me, so people can understand the value of actually having your representation within your district.
Well, it's kind of like those police officers that got to know their community and made it safer. Very similarly, first and foremost, local representation means that the person that you vote for city council must reside in your district and be voted on by the people in their district, so they know who they work for. Right? They live in your neighborhoods. They drive through your neighborhoods. They go to your shopping centers. They go to your faith, wherever your faith practices, but your worship areas. They go to the restaurants, and you can see them in the store. And you only have one person now to call to go ahead and take care of something, to go and advocate for you for something that's going on in your district. So if you're dealing with flooding, like we did yesterday, and all the chaos that caused with people losing power and unsafe driving conditions, so many other things, our kids being delayed from school. If your trash needed to be picked up, if your school needed to be updated, because by the way, while the school board sets the priority of the schools that are going to be updated, the city council owns the purse strings. So that one person represents you. Very similar, actually not similarly. This is American as American can be. We have a House of Representatives that has one person that you vote for. You live in that district, and they represent you amongst the other 435 people in there. Right? We have a House. We have a General Assembly that has a House of Delegates, as we just mentioned, that you live in that district, and that one person, you vote for that person that's in your district, and they represent you.
Okay, so it's the ideal democratic system. So let's just say it's 45,000 per district. We know it's probably varies.
Yep.
But let's say 45,000, the majority of the 45,000 people that voted will elect the council member to represent them in that district.
Council member and school board member.
And the school board member.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's your representation.
That's your direct representation in those two different but, collaborative bodies.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, explain the 731.
I perish to go and explain it because it kind of blows my mind of how you
Well,
do that.
I mean, as best you can.
I think it's going to blow everybody's mind. So first off, 7 districts, great. You have 7 equal districts, but here's the problem. So 10 districts, smaller districts, 45,000 people. Let's go ahead and do just some rough math. That now you have 7 districts for those 450,000 people. That's roughly 65 to 70,000 people per district. So do you think your voice is stronger in a 10-1 system with less people, or stronger in a district with more people?
You asking me?
I'm asking you.
Based on what I'm studying, to me it sounds like gerrymandering.
A little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I don't. I would think you would be better represented with
a smaller district.
Correct.
Then the other thing is, the other component to that 731 district is not only is the mayor, so that's the one.
Yeah.
The mayor is elected at large. All 3 of the other council members, of the 10 council members, are voted at large. So here's the problem with the at-large system, and this is why it's already been proven to be illegal. It's already costing us, our city, millions of dollars to go ahead and defend, in this Holloway case. Those 3 people can go ahead and there's no telling where all 3 of those people reside. So they all could be, as I said before, in the same neighborhood. They could all be in the same zip code. So that's one part of the city now who has an outweighted membership inside of our city council. And I don't think that's fair. So that's not fair representation, right? Because
so you could have 3 people living in the same district.
Sure. They could be neighbors. They could all be neighbors.
And they're representing someone else in another part of town.
They're supposedly representing, they're saying they're representing the entire city, but if 3 people who all live in the same zip code, this is a big city, right? We're the largest by population, in the largest locality by population in the Commonwealth. We're the second largest by land mass. All right.
Okay.
So, I mean, getting from one end of the city to the other is a 45-minute drive. Do you think that they're going to go ahead and if they're down in Pungo, or maybe if they're down in Charleston South over by the border of Chesapeake, that they're going to be able to make it all the way up to the North Shore and Shore Drive and see what's going on, and be able to advocate and understand what the people are struggling with in those districts?
Okay.
I don't think so.
Gotcha. So 7 council people are represented. The 3 people would be at large. And so what you're saying is those 3 people could actually be in one district.
They could be next door neighbors.
They could be next door neighbors. Okay. So, so your thought is, where's the representation for
Where's the fair
people? Yeah.
Where's the
people
fair
that are in a particular district?
Yeah, where's the fair representation for people that don't live in that district?
So,
and the neighborhoods that aren't represented by those 3 individuals.
Yeah, I don't want to ask you to. If you don't know the answer to it, that's fine. But it was like that up until.
Well, historically, when Virginia Beach, annexed Princess Anne County, and established its charter, it had an all at-large system. Which meant that while there were districts, some based upon some historical, segments of the city, that every one of those people was voted at large. So somebody from across town could vote for who was representing them, right? Mm-hmm. All the way up until there were many attempts to go ahead and change it through referendums, and that was stymied by really, oceanfront developers and the politicians that they had put into seats in that illegal system. Miss Latasha Holloway, Miss Georgia Allen, and a few other co-plaintiffs went to the federal courts in 2017, 2018 to plea for better representation. Miss Latasha Holloway did that because she went and reached her. She tried calling her representative, who didn't have time for her, because that representative was voted on by a majority of the other part of the city, other precincts in the city. So who are you going to be beholden to? The people that vote you in, or the district that you wanted? Who are you going to be beholden to? The people who fund your campaigns and keep you in power, if you will, or Miss Latasha Holloway, who was just trying to go and get something done for her schools and for her children.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I see. One of the things I do see when I'm driving by is I see a sign that says 10-1, say vote no because of tax. There's no representation with taxation. Explain that. I don't understand it.
Well, I don't understand it either, because that's not where we're at as the vote yes on 10-1 coalition. And I don't understand it for this reason. I mean, I'm an Air Force Academy graduate. I'm a political science, did well in history and other things, academically. And I think I understand American history pretty well. I also understand American politics pretty well. And if we were to go back historically and understand the real meaning of that no taxation without representation, what was going on at that time? American colonists had no voice. They had nobody in Parliament to go ahead and represent them. And so they had, they were being financially abused. They were being physically abused by the military. That's what they meant by that. That's why we, started a revolution, and here we are almost 250 years later. Any system that has, some sort of representative that you've got to vote on is representation, right? But kind of like Dr. King said, just because something's a law doesn't mean that it's right. I'm paraphrasing, but and in accordance with federal law, the 731 system is dead on arrival. It is not legal. It's legally dead on arrival. It is not legal.
Okay.
All right. The 10-1 system, a direct, fair, and local system, is legal. And it provides you ample representation to make sure that your taxes aren't too high, or that you understand where those taxes are going, and that those taxes honestly are in balance. Our taxes, our use of resources across the city is in balance. I mean, look at the oceanfront right now, and that surf park they have down there. Got nice facility. I think it's going to be a generator of some economic activity, but I'm questioning the value of sitting at a surf park when I can go ahead and look out and see the ocean, one street over. And I'm not against surfing. I'm not against progress. I think and development. I just think that our when I see crumbling streets, when I see flooding, across the city, I want to know that we're going to get something in return for the hard work, the tax dollars that we pour into the city, the economic activity that comes into here, and that it's not funneled away to the moneyed few.
Gotcha.
We don't have rec centers in certain areas that we should have rec centers. We don't have access for young children over the summer whose parents have to go and be hardworking, and work multiple jobs and not have the best childcare to go and keep them out of trouble, and have a way to go and transport children to rec centers that they should technically be in proximity with. We have food deserts inside of our city because economic activity has not been focused in those areas. So and responsible development has been focused in those areas. So that's what the 10-1 system is going to go ahead and make sure that we do, is bring our city back into balance and maintain balance, so that everyone, from the hardest working working family to the folks who live on the shore, have the same amount of resources.
Yeah. Do you see with the 10-1 system? Do you see that there could be representation and development? Do you think that's something that would go hand in hand, and how do you see that taking place?
I mean, like I said, I think for every, the city is if you looked at the way the pie is cut, it kind of works radially along the city center, right?
Okay.
So that's probably the most basic way to go ahead and look at it. And so that means that districts in the western side of the city are as represented as the eastern side. Same for the northern side and the southern side. And the one thing about Virginia Beach being such a large landmass city is we're not just an urban area. We have a very small urban area comparative to other cities of comparable size. But we have a lot of whether it's down farmland and the Green Line and oceanfront, all the way down to Pungo and Sandbridge, right?
Back Bay. Yeah.
Back Bay and everything else like that. Places we want to preserve.
Those are retreats. Yeah. Reserves. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. We have a great, I'll admit, we have a great oceanfront. Probably one of the crown jewels of the city in terms of drawing in tourists and economic activity. We have military bases, military facilities, all dotted throughout. We obviously see Oceana, but all dotted throughout Virginia Beach that bring in military families and everything. So we have a great amount of transients. We have a great amount of ideas and people that we ultimately would want to keep there. And then you have the suburbs and the older communities, if you want to call them older, just because it's not that they're old and bad, but they're deep rooted communities that are on the western side of the city as well. And if these communities are starting to fall apart because there's no investment going on there in terms of streets, in terms of infrastructure.
Yeah.
We're failing our city. We're going to go and find ourselves in decline. If we're focused on only one aspect of the city, we're not in balance.
Okay, so let me see if I understand you correctly. You feel as though the 7-1 is something that was pre-progress of where we are. I would imagine we've grown tremendously from the time that I've gotten here. I came in here in the 80s, mid to late 80s. And to go to school, it's grown quite a bit. So I think maybe that what you're saying is that system was representative to something prior to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where there wasn't as much development in those particular areas, would you say?
I would say that there were communities that there were winners and losers in communities, right?
Yeah.
And then if you go back to the to the reasoning for if you go back to the reasoning for the Voting Rights Act, and everything is there were communities that didn't have a say in what happened, and when there's communities that didn't have representation, they got developed out.
I understand. Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's not just about it's working family communities. There are one thing that I know about people who are from that I've learned from people who are from Virginia Beach, and I consider myself now a Virginia Beach native in terms of having lived here for over 10 years, and having pride in the city and the community that I know it can be. That. They're proud of the schools that they went to. They're proud of the neighborhoods they grew up in. And but when one of the oldest neighborhoods in our city has one of the oldest schools, Kempsville High School, that hasn't been updated since hasn't been rebuilt or updated since the 1960s. Where you see other schools that, are in, affluent areas, being, beautiful schools, something that children should be proud of, that parents are proud to go bring their kids to. And nothing against the great staff at Kempsville High School and the people who maintain the facility and everything else like that. But, capital investment for our education across the entire city needs to go and be in balance.
Okay. I gotcha. All right. I think I got it.
All right.
All right. So what would you like for us to know right now, what's going on? Talk about some of the things that you would like people to know that is taking place with the Democratic Party and the campaigns right now.
Yeah. So, I think front and center is voting rights. Voting rights are on the ballot in Virginia Beach, right? With that 10-1 referendum. That's thing one. And voting rights is not a Democratic party. We don't have ownership to that.
Okay.
As I said, Tea Party and some of the other conservative leaning folks, see the value in the 10-1 system.
All right.
In terms of things that we're concerned with getting across the finish line, besides getting our having a good majority so that we can enshrine 10-1, there's other ballot measures that are of interest out there, and not just ballot measures but constitutional measures that we think ought to be enshrined. So the right to making your own personal choices for healthcare, especially for women.
Okay.
Women are an equal part of our community. Our like I said, say-do gap, right? Mm-hmm. You can't go and say that a woman is the equal part of our community and not allow them to go make their own healthcare choices. That's a huge say-do gap. And really just some of the other economic issues. We've been hard hit. I think Virginia is one of the only states that is now recording, a rise in our unemployment. And why is that? Because federal workers, part of our lifeblood, have not been protected adequately by, advocated for and or protected, by the current administration, by Jason Miyares, who could, as Attorney General, could have sued the federal government, but being a Trump lackey, you're not going to go ahead and you're not going to get that out of them.
Gotcha.
And I'll tell you, it's tough for federal workers to go ahead and find jobs, even with the supposed, go find other jobs, because you set up your community, you committed to living in Virginia and the progress that it's able to make, and the good communities, the good infrastructure, the historical sites, the our nation's capital, right literally up the street, and everything. It's a great place. Virginia is a great place to be. Yeah. But we need to go and fight for the workers' rights and federal workers' rights and labor. And like I said, let's bring it back. And then really, it's economic issues. It's inflation isn't going down. We're still trying to make kitchen table choices. Even with the promises that the current administration has brought up.
Yeah.
So. That's what I think is at stake in Virginia. That's why I think that the Democrats have the better ideas to go ahead and will have the will to go ahead and do that with Abigail Spanberger, Ghazala Hashmi, Jay Jones being elected to our executive and having a majority in the House of Delegates.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming in and explaining that to us.
Yeah.
So thank you. If that's it.
Hey, that's all I got. That's all you got.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you once again for coming in. That's Sean Montero, and thank you for following us on Listen Up.
Yeah, thank you very much.
If you enjoyed today's episode, I'm going to ask you to click on the links below, follow, subscribe, become part of the conversation, and remember, listen up.